Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on PharcydeTV. My co-host Jeremy Scipio. He had to hit a stage tonight, but I have a very special guest, Mr. Jerry Garcia. What's up, Jerry?
What up, Greg? What's going on? What's up, Far Side? How y'all living out there on the far side?
We good, man. Man, hanging on, man. Just hanging on.
I like a little background there, dog. You're a Star Wars fan or what?
Yeah, just a shot glass.
Hey.
Our friend in common, I think, is a more hardcore fan than myself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now that I got turned on Disney Plus, dog, I'm starting to go into it a little bit harder now, dog. There's so much there to watch, dude.
That's
I got
crazy.
kids, bro. I gotta get Disney Plus, you know.
I've been on the fence, and I love the movie. Like, I'm not like, I mean, the background is about as far as I would go with like buying some or having something extra. But as far as like watching the movies, I'm just like, I'm all over them. And I have been tempted to get the whole little Disney situation, but I'm like, man, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, DirecTV with a gang of channels, and I don't even watch that.
That's what you gotta cut back on. Just cut back on DirecTV, man. That's what I did, dog. I pulled the plug on that and just got me all the other stuff, dog.
Nah.
Play the numbers.
Yeah. So tell me this, where were you the first time that you heard hip hop?
Bro, I'm a late bloomer to hip hop, man. I'm Mexican, bro. So I'm born and raised in Huntington Park, California. You know, hip hop was not allowed in my house, brother. You know, I couldn't have that kind of music in my house. My mom would kick me out.
You know the funny thing about it? I think you're kind of serious.
I'm serious. Bro, Huntington Park, man. I don't know if are you familiar with Huntington Park?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. All right, very Mexican town. So you know, that music. I mean, obviously the music was played, but as a youngster, I could probably say I listened to it my first time. I must have been in 5th grade. What is that? 10 years old?
Yeah.
You know, 10 years old. I'm 41, dog. So born in 1980. So we're talking about, dog. We're talking about 1990, bro. 90. And okay, now that I'm starting to reminisce a little bit here, now you got me going back. Doggy Style was probably the first record. It had to be The Chronic.
Dang.
Eazy-E, The Streets Are a Real Mother.
Yeah.
Right? It had to be those three. So which one came first? I don't know which one came first. But it had to be obviously The Chronic, right? With the Eazy-E, The Streets Is a Motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
And then followed up with Doggy Style, which I love. I love all three of those albums, bro. Like, obviously, right? Being a 90s kid, hip-hop, West Coast, LA, that was my thing, dog.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something crazy. So in the 90s is when I was like, I was a fan of hip-hop since like maybe around 78. You know what I'm saying?
78? How old are you, fool? Get out of here, 78.
I'm halfway through this, man.
Bro, you look like 35, fool.
Oh man, that's my club age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's your Instagram age.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I you know, for me, like the Sugar Hill Gang and all that stuff around 78, whatever, that was kind of something, but Run DMC had a really strong impact. And it was kind of like MTV had just started to like MTV didn't let anybody on MTV. It was just very like, if you think that you were programmed with radio stations and then playing the same song over and over and over again, when MTV kind of first jumped off, they would just play a video, man. They you know, yeah. So they play it. So Run DMC, it was kind of like, man, these dudes are rhyming cool. Jam Master Jay, he wasn't a Grandmaster Flash, but for Run DMC, he was incredible. And not taking nothing away from Jam Master Jay, but I'm just saying you had Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five with The Message or whatever, and then you get Run DMC. You got two dudes that are very stylish, and then you have a DJ that can just really cut. So for me, man, that just kind of like blew my mind, and I was just kind of like, I was like, man, this is. I knew it was gonna be something.
Yeah.
Like for a fact, I knew it was gonna be something, and yeah. So from there, the New York thing, there was a lot of LA, but then there was a New York thing very strong in like 85, 86, 87, 88. Yeah. And then, and the reason I go into that is because you giving me your 3 albums and that being in the 90s, no West Coast or continental hip hop involved. You just being from Huntington Park, that was pretty amazing that those 3 albums for someone who really wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop like that you picked those, because those are very good albums.
Yeah, I fell in love with all 3. I mean, back then I remember there were cassette tapes. I bought the cassette tapes. I had to stash them under my bed, but I listened to them all day, every day, 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade. And then you start to choose sides, right? If you're on Eazy-E's side or you're on Dre's side, who's more gangster, who's real, who's not real. I mean, calling each other studio gangsters, which I still use today, that phrase, when someone's trying to be fake hard. And I mean, it was great times, man, now that I think about it. And then the Doggy Style record, every song was fire, bro. Every one to
fire.
One. Even the outros, the intros, they were all great, you know.
They were hungry.
Everything was amazing.
They were hungry. So when did you realize you had a passion for comedy?
For comedy, I think always, man. I was a class clown, bro. I was a real goofball growing up, man. Now that I'm obviously 40, man, 41, dog, I'm a lot more chill, and I do this as a profession. I'm a very chill person. But growing up as a kid, man, at the same age, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, man, I was just a class clown, man. I was making everybody laugh, the teachers. One of my things I tell my kids, I have kids with myself now that are teenagers, I tell them, look, man, the key to being a class clown, bro, is to making the teachers laugh. You have to get the teachers to laugh, bro. You can't just be a class clown saying bullshit and making a girl laugh or the cool kids laugh. You got to make the teachers laugh. Once you make the adults laugh, bro, you have a free pass. You have a free pass to say whatever you want. Obviously, don't cross the line, but be respectful. And what I'm trying to tell you is be funny, but be smart about it. Be smart about it.
Sounds like what you're trying to tell me is you started working out on your comedy way early, you know.
Yes, sir. Man, my key was always to break a teacher. I was always trying to make the teacher laugh.
That's tight. So where'd you go to junior high?
I'm born, raised in Huntington Park. I still live here now. So I went to elementary, Miles Avenue Elementary, Gage Middle School, Huntington Park High School. Those are the 3 schools you need to go if you're from Huntington Park, California. Where are you from, Greg?
Harbor City.
Harbor City, which is the beach?
No way. It's about 5 minutes from San Pedro.
Yeah, the beach, dog.
Carson, no, the water, not the beach. It's the water. Yeah, no, the sand is like 15 minutes in another direction. But yeah, I get the water in like 10 minutes.
San Pedro's a hood, man. I've been to San Pedro back in the day, man. Went to some parties out there. It was hood.
Yeah, man. You know what? My parents lived in Harbor City, and I had an opportunity to get a house out here, and it's almost hood, but it's almost not. But I just look at it like, man, I just been here forever, man.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Huntington Park. People are like, you still live in Huntington Park? Yes, I still live in Huntington Park. Yes, I'm used to it. I'm immune to gunshots here at night and carjacking.
Yeah, we hear that too. Yeah.
I'm just used to it. And I mean, come on, I'm 15 minutes away from Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Especially that I leave at 8:30 at night to go to shows. There's no traffic after 8 o'clock. You're good. I can get to places fast, dog, from Huntington Park.
Tight. So tell me this: with really no hip hop being allowed, kind of like in your situation in junior high school, what was the poppin' music for you?
Well, it was Mexican music, bro. At the time, it was a big time in banda music, norteño music. Banda was a big deal in the 90s, early 90s. But there was a hip hop feel to it as well, dog. I just, at the time, I picked banda as cause I could relate to it obviously a lot more.
Yeah.
I could dance to it. I could sing it out loud in front of my family. But hip hop, I had my homies who were all into hip hop, so I would love to hang out with them. So
that was your closet music.
Yeah, it was definitely my closet music, bro. I couldn't drive yet, so I didn't have a car to get away and bump that stuff. But banda music was big for us here, man. And I know it was big over there in San Pedro side too, bro.
You know, I don't know exactly what it is, but something about what you're saying, it's the music with a lot of bass. It's like boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Bass, yes. Oh yeah, nah, we got it. We got it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I never knew a name. I never knew a name to it. I knew this.
Well, there's different genres in Mexican music. So there's banda music, and that's just like a bunch of dudes on stage. Like that's like was you have like 18 people on stage with their trumpets and stuff and
trombones, yeah.
And there's norteño, who are usually just like five guys, around five guys, who just got it's just a drum set and a few guitars.
That's okay.
So it's different styles.
And so
it's like trap and hip hop. I don't know.
So when you were in high school, what did you think your path was going to be? 12th grade, starting off 12th grade senior. I don't know how your grades were. I don't know what your interest in high school was, but you starting off as a 12th grade senior, your first semester. What do you see your future being?
Yeah. All right. So my future, that's a good question, Doc, because obviously comedy was always a passion and love for mine. But once again, going back from Hino Park, I had no idea how to become a comedian, Doc. I don't know where you start. I didn't know who's hiring comics, right? I didn't know where you go. All I knew is it's Hollywood, and that was too far for me. So I had to keep things real in perspective. I have an older sister. She's about 4 years older than me. She was a kindergarten teacher, and she bragged about having summers off and Christmas vacation and every weekend off and being off by 2:30 and just having to teach the ABCs over and over and over. And that sold me, bro. That sold me.
Hey, that sounded kind of advertising right there, man.
Oh, come on. I'm like, come on. Summer's off, all that good stuff. Just running around with 30 little kids around, dude. Babysitting, basically, dude. Teaching them ABCs, one plus one. I'm there, dog. So I left high school thinking I was going to be an elementary school teacher, basically. Elementary school teacher. And just take it from there. But that dream didn't last long, though.
So when was the first time you stepped on a stage?
I'm 41 years old, man. The first time I stepped on stage was 29, bro. So all throughout my 20s, I just went from job to job, trying to find myself, trying to make easy money, getting myself in trouble, breaking a few laws here and there. Nothing too crazy, petty theft, things, this and that. Nothing too wild. But throughout my 20s, bro, just going from one job to another, always being that class clown, the witty guy, the funny guy, the guy girls are attracted to because of my sense of humor, nothing else, right? And then around 29, man, I was married at the time. I was married, and I told her one day, you know what? I'm just going in circles here. I really want to do something I'm passionate about it, and it's comedy. She kind of, after she giggled for a little bit, didn't take me too serious, and she said, just go for it. Go for it. Get it out of your system. And I said, before I turn 30, I'm going to get it out of my system. And I was 29 and like 10 months when I went up on stage for the first time in North Hollywood, California, and at the Ha Ha Comedy Club. There was an open mic. A coworker of mine who I made laugh at work. I would make this guy laugh at work all day, every day. He lived in North Hollywood, and he told me, yo, man, I drive by this comedy club every day. There's an open mic there for new guys, for newbies. You should go check it out. And he kept pushing me, brought me just a flyer from there and everything. Like, yo, bro, it's like, just all you gotta do is just sign up and you're up there, man. And eventually he just persuaded me enough to go do it, man. I got on stage for the first time in 2009.
Man.
Yeah.
And what was that like?
Not good, bro. Not good. You know, yeah. Apparently, to be a comedian, you gotta be really funny on stage, and I didn't bring that heat though, man. I didn't, and I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I could just be funny off the top of my head. Did not plan out, did not prepare, did not practice, did not write anything down. All the do's of comedy I did not do, and it showed, man. I went up there with just people's just awkward silence, but you know, everybody sucks though, because everybody's open mic there. Everyone's new, so everybody's just learning. So the guy before me did awful. I did awful. The guy after me did awful. So that's how I was able to be okay with my life after that.
That's dope though. That's dope, because it's like for you to still be doing it.
Yeah.
And for you definitely to not have just like taken off, just like shh.
Well, it was an ego check, bro. To be honest with you, man, I did really bad. I didn't get not one laugh. I was talking just about my day, basically. About at the time I had 2 babies. My kids were babies, so I was just talking about changing diapers and smelling their shit, and I thought it was funny, right? In my head, I was killing it. Right? In my head, I was talking about changing diapers and smelling farts and dumb stuff and getting vomited on. I thought that was funny. No one was relating. Nobody cared. It just wasn't funny. But I left that night, really just checked my ego and said to myself, you know what? I'm better than this, dog. I know I'm funny. I know I can get laughs. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened in there today, but I know I can get laughs. So I just kind of checked myself and said, I guess I must have to try harder, write, prepare, practice. And I did all those things before I went up back there again and got a couple giggles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, man. So, what kind of comedian would you, for someone who's never seen you, what kind of comedian would you classify yourself as?
Part of self-deprecating is a good way of describing my comedy. I like to talk about all the bad things that are going on in my life. Okay. Being a single father of 3 kids, 2 babies, mamas, living in Huntington Park, growing up Mexican, a little bit of everything, bro. A little bit of everything, and just finding the funny and all the bad things that go on with me.
You done lived a full life, man.
Yes, sir, dog. Yeah, so
you done lived the full. You breaking it down.
Yeah, man, and there's more in the way. I think we'll see.
No, for sure. Break down the Fox's Laughs comedy series.
Man, that was a long time ago, man. That was so we're talking about, that was my first TV little break I had. That was back like in 2014, 5 years into my comedy. I was making big strides at the time, man, and I was able to learn from a lot of really funny comics who took me on the road and took me under their wing. And before I knew it, I had a good 20 minute set that I was killing it with everywhere I went. And one of the there was a person who was producing that show, the Fox Laughs, and he checked me out and he saw me and he invited me to come on. And he made no promises. He said they were doing a taping for that show, and they were going to tape like 10 comics, and four or five were going to make it on air. And I was one of the ones that made it on air. At the time, dude, to be honest with you, Greg, I don't remember what I was talking about at the time, man. It was a really long time ago. But they were like really quirky, funny one-liner jokes that I had going on at the time, and I remember doing really, really good and using those jokes for a long time before that.
So tell me this. So at that time, did you have an agent, or it was strictly homeboy from the show was just there checking you out and was like, okay?
Yeah, no agent, no manager, no believers, just me, just a guy at a comedy club saying, yo, I'm shooting this thing for Fox. I'm looking for some comedians. You're pretty funny. Come out. We're going to shoot like 10 or 12 of you guys. And it's only like 7 minutes. We have to do, all of us were doing just 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. And they were going to edit that down to like 4 minutes. And then they were going to air 4 minutes of my set. And that was the first time I went on TV.
Wow. So then how did you end up hooking up with Chingo Bling's They Can't Deport Us All?
Chingo Bling, again, man, this guy, he was in Hollywood, California. I don't know how much you know about Chingo Bling, but he's big. He's been a rapper. He's been doing a lot of things for a long time. YouTube sensation, huge following, bro. And comedy was on his radar, and he wanted to produce his own comedy special, which he was gonna host. And he was out looking for comedians. Now this is now 2016, so now I'm like 7 years in the game. I'm not headlining, but I'm catching some steam here, getting attention from a lot of people here and there. I'm featuring and opening for some pretty big acts. And Chingo Bling came out to Hollywood to look for talent. He saw me at the Hollywood Improv, introduced himself. To be honest with you, I didn't know who he was, but I've heard about his name. I heard the name, but I never knew who he was. He came up to me and said, yo, you're really funny, man. I'm working on this Netflix special. I want to keep you in consideration as being one of the guys who I bring on. And you take it with solid grain, right? A grain of salt, right? And you don't do too much of it. You just shake hands, exchange numbers, and see what happens. And sure enough, he calls me a few weeks later saying this is happening. Flew me out to Houston. We were there a week because we had to do some little intros and some sketches for the special as well. And we shot the special for Netflix, and it aired in 2017, bro. And that's when my career really started taking off, dog. I started headlining clubs around the country, man. Thanks to that special, and thanks to Chingo Bling himself, man.
Nah, man, that's pretty impressive. Have you been watching the Versus at all, or nah?
The Versus?
Yeah.
No.
What
Versus? Who?
Oh man, Timberland and Swiss Beats.
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh,
what's that?
Oh man, it's one of the biggest things the culture has seen, man. I'll say, yeah, it's a very.
It's on Netflix?
No.
What are you talking about?
It's on YouTube, IG.
So
YouTube.
They're beefing or what?
No, you have two different groups that go against each other.
Okay.
So you have like, let's say you have, they just had Dipset against the Locks, two New York groups that are just like really big.
Locks,
and whatnot. So like they had well, yeah, man, if you don't know, but
so they just battle it out.
Exactly. But it's a friendly, it's like friendly, but they'll get people that are kind of like elusive, kind of like people that, like, let's say for instance,
you haven't heard from in a while.
Well, but like say back in the 80s, they were known to be like arch enemies or something like that. Like, man, they just were just like, not messing with each other. And they get those dudes to be cool and kind of like have like a showcase of song, going song for song, trying to see who's
all right.
Dope. But oh man, so that kills that question. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I was a big, huge Biggie fan, bro. Biggie was a guy who he really impacted me in high school, dog. I graduated in '97, but he passed away, I believe, in '96. And dude, I was obviously a big Tupac fan as well, but when I had to choose, even though being an LA guy, dude, I mean, Biggie just blew me away, man. I loved everything about him, his swag, his lyrics. And I don't know, man, toe to toe to me, when I had to pick a side, it was Biggie a lot of times, man. You
know what? When I look at him, I look at Tupac as being the larger personality.
Mm-hmm. Bigger than life.
Yeah, personality.
Yeah.
But on the mic, Biggie. Yeah. I had the conversation, I think it was last week. If you want to hear the true art of two gifted rappers going back and forth, Brooklyn's Finest on Jay-Z's album. It's a Biggie and Jay-Z going verse for verse. And man. Right. Yeah, so that's just some serious rapping. So at what point did you get an agent and a manager?
Man, a little bit after 2017, man. So I got picked up by Gersh agency, which is one of the top agencies in Hollywood. I've been with them for a little bit, and then management. I've gone through a couple different managers, to be honest with you, man. Sometimes it's a touch and go situation. Some managers, they have connections in some side of town, and others have others. So I have to figure out which ones are better for me. But I've had a few different managers, man. Right, the one I have right now is really good, doing some good things for me, and this is.
No, that's tight. For me, like in hip hop, I've had people come to me and they've asked like, I want to be a manager, man. It looks like fun, you know what I'm saying? Because I managed and I road managed, so it was like both of them. So they're like, oh man, it looks like fun. Like, how do you do it or whatever? And I just tell people, man, if you want to manage somebody, you gotta believe in them, and you gotta believe that what you put in them can help them be better than they already are.
Yeah.
But you really have to believe that, like you don't like play a game with yourself. You really have to believe that this artist or whatever it is that you can,
hands.
Yeah, throw your thing on it, and then on the flip side of it, as a manager, you want a client who is not going to look at you as a crutch, but it's like you're going to complement each other. You know what I'm saying? And kind of do your thing. So for a young comic starting out, what would you tell them as far as walking on their first stages, management, and the whole agent thing and how that goes?
Oh man, to be honest with you, bro, I don't think you really need and no young comic needs a manager yet, bro. You don't need a manager until shit starts to get real. When real contracts are coming to your face all the time, like, yo, sign this, sign that. That's when I need somebody to look over my stuff, take care of me, watch over me, make sure I'm not signing the wrong things. But other than that, you don't need a manager, bro. You can do this all yourself, man, just through networking, connections, building relationships with comedy clubs, with comedy club managers, other comedians who are more than willing to bring you on the road with them, put money in your pocket. You don't need a manager until shit gets real. When you're coming out on TV, when HBO is knocking on the door, when Netflix is knocking on the door, that's when you need a manager, because you're gonna need somebody to protect you, like you said, and watch over you and trust. Until then, just keep working and keep getting stronger and funnier and better, and just keep doing bar shows and keep doing fundraiser shows and keep doing whatever it takes to get funnier. All I worried about was getting funnier, dog. Managers were gonna come. Gersh came knocking on the door after my Netflix special, right before HBO. They came knocking, and Gersh is a big deal. I was honored to have them call me, but I never reached out to them. They reached out to me. You know, I was very nervous when I went to meet with them and sat with them, but I knew at the time that I needed this type of representation. Now, this is the next step for me. I wasn't worrying about Gersh or any other agency in 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013. I was just worrying about perfecting my craft, dog, and being funny on stage, though. That makes sense?
No, man.
Sometimes a lot of these guys, they rush to that. They rush. They're 3-4 years in the game. They have maybe 15, 20 minutes worth of material on stage. They're bombing every other night. Sometimes they do great. Sometimes they do not do great. Yet they want a manager, and they want that. That's just then they become just crutches. You become crutches to each other. It's not fair for the manager, and it's not fair for you.
That's dope. That's dope. Nah, that's dope. That's dope. And you know what? I can tell by your path to becoming the comic who you are today, you had to overcome a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I can just tell through your story. Like, we didn't do a whole bunch of B conversation dialogue or whatnot, but just by the way you're answering your questions, I realized no one just waved a magic wand over your head and was like, oh man, we gonna put him on, man. It's just all.
No. I'll tell you this though. Look, I started at 29, dog. So I knew then that, dude, I have to be funny now, bro. Like, I'm older now. I'm not a young kid. I literally had kids to feed. So if I'm gonna pursue this dream of mine, I'm gonna go all in hard. I'm not gonna waste my time getting drunk, getting high, following chicks around. My focus was being funny on stage, dog, and making this happen, dude. And I had no time to mess around, bro, basically. So, and then the breaks that I did catch, I took full advantage of. You know, again, people like Paul Rodriguez took me on the road with them. Jeff Garcia, just a bunch of guys, man, that they took me on the road with them, and I couldn't be like more grateful for them, because they exposed me to so much larger audiences that I was able to take advantage. And once I was exposed to those large audiences, I was able to do my part. And my part was to deliver and to be funny and to be recognizable and to be memorable, and for people to start following me and saying, who the hell is this guy? Who was that guy? Who was that opener? That guy was funny. Who is this guy? And that's when it starts. But it was a lot of work, bro. It was a lot of work, man. You know?
That's dope. So HBO and Netflix, both under the belt a little bit, a little tucked under the belt.
Yes, sir.
Quite an accomplishment.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be on Roku in a few weeks. Roku.
Okay.
Yeah, just had a little comedy special with Roku. And it's an old special that I shot in 2016 with a couple buddies of mine for the American Wannabes podcast that we do.
Okay.
And we did a comedy. We shot it. All three of us are comedians, and so we did a comedy special which we produced ourselves, which we made ourselves, and we sold it. And Roku is now picking it up.
The owner.
Yeah.
Roku is now the owner of the comedy special.
Yes, sir.
So break down American Wannabes podcast.
American Wannabe is a podcast. We've been doing it for 4 years, man. Since 2017, we're like in episode 220 right now. Weekly episodes, nonstop. We've missed maybe like 3 weeks in the 4 years that we've been together. Wow. And we're now on Patreon and we're on YouTube. YouTube is something new for us. We're just solely on audio, iTunes, Spotify, but we've moved over to YouTube now as well. So we have visuals. And launched a Patreon that's going really well, and it's been great, dude. I can't thank everyone who listens, man.
Nah, that's tight. That's tight. So, describe the you 5 years ago.
Me 5 years ago?
Yep.
Dog, 5 years ago, hungry, determined, just committed to this comedy, bro. Full-hearted, man. I was going out 5 years ago. Was what, 2016? Yeah, bro. I was going out every night, dude. Pretty much at least 5 nights a week. Finding a stage, a bar show, a backyard boogie show. Dude, I perform in living rooms. I perform for AA groups, Narcotics Anonymous groups. I perform at churches. I've performed everywhere. Everywhere they've had a mic and have asked people to
perform
comedy. Yes, sir. I could do clean, I could do dirty, I could do kid jokes, I could do everything, bro. I could go blue as shit, I could do dirty bar show gigs. I've performed in strip clubs, man. I've done it all, bro. Done it all. And 5 years ago was in the middle of that grind. Yeah, ever since then I've tapered off a lot of those. I don't do much of that anymore. But 2015, 2016, I was on a different mode, man.
He's like, I was on a different mode. So where were you when you found out that we had to go down with the whole COVID lockdown and everything?
Well, obviously being home, I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I was home watching the news, just anticipating this every day, hoping to God the schools wouldn't close. I didn't want my kids at home all day, every day. That's been rough, right? Then I had to step up because guess who has to be teacher assistant now? This guy, right? And so I was dreading that day. I knew it was coming. People weren't washing their hands enough, man. And sooner or later, we got locked down. And I was at the house when that dreaded day, March, what was it, 16th?
Yeah, it was like right around there. Yeah, when it was like,
so, man, yeah. When that Pelicans NBA game canceled is when I knew things were real, dog. When the NBA shut down with the Jazz. When that Gobert guy got the COVID, I was like, it's over, bro. We're all going home, man.
We had a show the day that the governor said no more, like that Friday. And I was about to drive to San Diego, and one of the guys called me and he told me he was halfway there. He was in Irvine or something like that, grabbing something to eat. And then the other guy, he was in Pasadena, so he didn't leave his house. And so I had talked to the guy from Live Nation, and he was like, have you been watching the news? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, one of the guys mentioned to me, the governor might call a lockdown. I don't know if it goes into effect today. I don't know if it goes into effect tomorrow or whatever. And so then he's like, oh man, I'm gonna call you back in 40 minutes. He didn't call me back for like 2 hours.
I was gonna say 40 minutes turned into a year and a half.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, and it was so crazy because I can't remember the last time I was anticipating somebody's phone call like that. Like literally it's been like years, like man, like so many years. And I'm over here like, well, do I call him? Whatever. But then I was like, I had one guy, and the guy that was halfway there, I told him just get something to eat and just chill out. Let me figure it out. So when we did finally talk, he was like, yeah, the club doesn't want to be liable because no one knows anything about this stuff. And if it was me, I'd be all down to do it, but we can't. And I was just like, the world has changed, man.
Well, I had a tour that was starting in March that year, dude. That obviously got canceled. I was gonna do Chicago, Missouri, Wisconsin, St. Louis, and I was so excited. I've never been to some of those places, man. You know, I've been to Chicago, but I've never been to St. Louis or Wisconsin, Green Bay. We're gonna do Green Bay, and yeah, man, all that just and we never made up those shows.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, no, man, man, it was real. So another question I have for you. So in this whole time of COVID, you had some people who had that had internet presence, that had it popping, and then you had other people who kind of developed getting it popping over the whole quarantine, or quarantine or whatever. So with you, have you seen any comedians that kind of started out with like a social media presence that actually, like, they started with social media, but they actually got themselves to the point of where they could like stand on stage and like pull off a set?
Yes, I don't know about stand on stage and pull off a set, but these are guys who blew up, who are blowing up on social media. Friends of mine who are blowing up on social media, on IG, funny as shit on IG and on TikTok, killing it, bro, killing it. Who are now transitioning onto stage. Now that the things were opening up just like a month ago or so, when things started opening up again, they've decided that they want to get on stage and do some stand up, and I'm all like, go for it, bro. Like, I'm here to help, I'm here to support, I'm here to do whatever. I'm here to like throw tomatoes at you if I have to, dog. But do it, bro. And because these guys, they really made a name for themselves on IG, which I respect, dog.
Yeah.
I'm not big on IG. I got maybe close to 20,000 followers, if that. But these guys got hundreds of thousands of followers, dog. And I respect the grind. And that's a different grind that I don't do, that I don't have.
Yeah.
So watching them, they make me laugh. Their videos make me laugh. I'm a friend. I'm a follower. I'm a fan. So now that they want to get on stage, dog, I'm supportive, bro. Like, if it's, more power to them, bro. I don't know if they're killing it on stage. I can't tell you that. It's gonna take a minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect that. I mean, even if you're the most talented, I wouldn't expect it. My relationship with comedy pretty much comes from my co-host, and before that, it was kind of like I had comedians that I would watch in movies, and then they would happen to do stand-up, and so then I would just gravitate. Like, I didn't have many comedians where like I was a fan of their stand-up, and then they're a movie star.
You saw them on TV first.
Exactly. So like that's kind of the way it was. But going to see him one night, I just saw how, to stand, like, I not that I like compared it to hip hop, but I was like, okay, with hip hop, you have a DJ that's spinning some records. You have one MC if he's a solo group. You have a couple of MCs. You may have a band. You may have some video graphics, going on in the background.
Dancers.
And then, as a comedian, dude, you walking out there just butt naked, man. And the thing about it is, the audience is like, sometimes it can be your fans, I guess, if you're at a certain level or depending on what night or whatever, but it's not like doing a concert where all the people know what you're gonna, the people who are coming to see you, they love you, most of them already. Yeah. But as a comedian, it was amazing to me to see the comedians kind of like work the crowd, and how like the comedians, like the comedian that rocked that night, he really just like moved the room. You know what I'm saying?
He connected. He was memorable, right?
Yeah.
He just connected. He talked to the audience a little bit. His materials was relatable as well, right? It hit something in you, like, oh yeah, that's me. That reminded me something I do, or that's how I am, right? Did you connect with the guy? Why was he so good?
Yeah, no, that was it. That was it. So since you don't really know anything about verses, but I'm gonna text message you and email. We're gonna get you into some verses. You're like, oh man, I've been missing out a little bit.
Yeah, hook me up with that.
Your top 3 comedians.
Comedians or rappers?
Comedians.
Comedians, I gotta go. I definitely gotta go Chappelle, of course, the GOAT. But my 2 other favorites is Bill Burr, and right now it's Sebastian Maniscalco. Have you heard of Sebastian Maniscalco?
Man, so I watched this other podcast, and they were talking about Sebastian.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because their whole thing was he's blowing up, but a gang of people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But even with a bunch of people not knowing who he is,
sells out theaters.
Like selling out Madison Square Garden and like doing like the biggest stuff ever. And I was just like, dang, that's amazing.
How special is that, right? I said the same thing, man. I said the same thing, man. I was in New Orleans, bro, not too long ago, man. And he was going to be in a theater. I was driving by and I saw his name, theater coming, so-and-so date, Sebastian Maniscalco. And I told the guy I was with who picked me up from the airport, I'm like, hey, bro, Sebastian's going to be here. How awesome is that? And this guy was like, I have no idea who he is, man. Like, I've never heard of him, kind of stuff. And he proclaimed to be a hardcore comedy fan. Like, oh, I love comedy. I love your comedy. I saw your special. I know this guy's special. That guy's special. This guy's special. We drove by a theater. I see Sebastian Maniscalco. Oh, Sebastian's going to be here. He's like, I don't know who that is, dog. I have no idea who that is. I'm like, bro, come on. You're killing me here, dog. This guy's fucking amazing.
Yeah, but see, I didn't know until they mentioned him on the thing, but I still haven't gone to check his material or anything.
Oh, he's great, man. He's great. One of my favorites. Yeah. I like watching comics that that do what I can't do. So, for example, Bill Burr, you know, he'll
goes hard.
He goes hard. He'll go to dark places. He'll dig himself in a hole. He'll get himself out of it, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. And that's why I love watching him. Same thing with Chappelle, obviously, right? Chappelle just goes through this like mind fuck that you're just like, what did I just watch? And I feel like I can't do that. So I stay in my lane and just watch that and appreciate that. Same thing with Sebastian Maniscalco. He's very animated and tells stories, and he's just all over the place. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. That's not my style. My style is more like, I don't know if you've seen any clips of me, but I'm just more chill. Very matter of fact, drink my water, deliver my punchline, get back to the next joke, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, but I don't get too animated or I don't get too riled up on stage. But I love watching guys that do.
Why do you think Bill Burr, like he's been around for a minute, but why do you think like in the last like 8 months, he really gained, like it seems like he gained a lot of steam?
I think it's a lot of the pushback of the cancel culture, right? So I think he provides a breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air, right? So he's that guy for us right now, man. When everyone's watching what they're saying, including me, you know, I'm not at that status yet, fool. So I still gotta watch what I say.
Keep your eye on the bag.
Yeah, I gotta, you know, I can't rock the cradle too much, right? But we're all tired of it. Everyone's tired of the cancel culture, shit you can't say, things you can't talk about, places you can't go. So we need that. I think we needed that one person who's gonna push back, and we all gravitated to Bill Burr for that.
Yeah, nah, man, I never heard of him. Like literally, I never heard. But I'm not a super comedy guy. I would never profess to be it. I've really been opened up to comedy through my co-host Jeremy. But other than that, like not mine. But
even me, bro, I'm the same way. You know, I'm a comedian, but I don't keep track of a lot of other guys who are doing it. I just follow the greats, the best of the best. I like, because that's who I'm chasing, whatever. But as far as the other comedians, have you heard of this comic from New York? This comic from Chicago? This comic from Texas? Honestly, I don't really know, dude. I don't like to watch other comics too much because, you know, you gotta stay as original as possible. And I wouldn't any of those ideas going into my head by watching other people.
Subliminally, and it's just like,
yeah.
So with that being said, I got the last one for you, man. You being a traveling comedian, you know what I'm saying? Hitting stages when you weren't traveling, just local stages, whatnot. Where do you see social interaction going in the next 5 years with this whole COVID situation?
I'm hoping in 5 years we'll be back to normal, dog. I don't know how close to that, how soon that will be. I think we took a step back this last month, obviously, right? This last month or so, we took a big step back, which I wasn't expecting. I really thought we were going to go back to normal completely by 2022, bro, like January 2022. I really saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought this summer was going to be the summer where we get our lives back, right? And then we just go from there, fool. We're always going to be a little cautious. We're going to wash our hands a couple extra seconds. Carry hand sanitizer in the car. Yeah, sure, cool. But as long as people are getting vaccinated and we're slowing that curve down and there's less and less people dying and getting sick, I thought we were going to go back to normal by 2022, dog. Obviously, that's not happening right now. So, but in 5 years, dog, I see come on, I think we're starving to go back to normality, right?
Oh, man, starving, man.
No one's saying I want this to be the new norm. No one's saying that, dog.
Man, I know that I got a buddy who throws this party on boats up in the Bay Area, and I mean they get a yacht, and so they kind of like do the yacht party, buffet, drinks, the whole little nine. So I was saying to myself, man, I called him up and I was like, man, what are they doing in Frisco? Like how's it working or whatever? And he's like, well, you know what, man, we just gonna do it as much as we can before they just shut it down or whatever it is. But something is probably coming, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, at some point. And I remember before he said that to me, I was like, man, it seems like I just haven't been in a social set or had fun. And I was like, oh man, and it's like, we just been caged up, man. And so it's kind of like with the warm weather, you know what I'm saying? People kind of moving around, but honestly, with this whole kick up of this new stuff, I'm kind of cool on being in crowds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully vaccinated, bro. So I do forget sometimes about it because I try to just not to let the stress off. But you still can't get it, dog. More and more people are getting it who've been vaccinated, dog. So yeah, I am starting to like just stay home a little bit more than I should. I just stay home a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Just drive through instead of going indoors or whatever. Dog. Just eat at the house a little bit more. But chill.
Nah, that's right. So tell me this, what you got coming up?
Like I said, we got a special coming out on Roku, the American Wannabe podcast comedy special coming out, I believe on September, Labor Day weekend. It'll be dropping. Other than that, dude, I'm back on the road again, man. I'm gonna be in Yakima, Washington, Seattle, Washington, August 21, 22. We'll be in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona in September. Just look me up on my social media, man. Comedian Jerry G. I got to put up all my dates there. I also got a website, comedianjerrygarcia.com. You can find tickets there for all my shows. And I'm everywhere, bro. I stay busy, man. Stay busy. I'm going to be in Palm Springs a couple weeks from now. So, yeah, we're doing it.
No, all good. Well, man, I appreciate you for tapping in, man. We not the biggest situation, man, but I'm interviewing some really good people, and I'm trying to come at it from a way where I want to ask you the questions that a larger situation is not going to ask you. Like, I mean,
the questions that matter.
Yeah, we know who you are. I mean, as far as, okay, he's a comedian. He's probably done some really cool stuff, some big stuff, whatever. Yeah. But, I was like, well, what's up with Honey?
Where are you really from? Where you really from? Yeah. Where you really about?
Yeah. That's right. So, no, man, I appreciate it. I'll tap in with you. Thanks for being a part of this.
Great. Thank you.